Welcome back. Did you take your hormone quiz? If not, go back and take the quiz. Hey, some of you may have already taken this quiz. Take the quiz again. I mean it. After the delicious detox, your scores will improve. I guarantee it. I see it all the time. Just grab your quiz results and let's discover what you can do to naturally heal your hormonal imbalance. Your first step is to make note of your scores. In each section, I want you to add up all of the yeses and follow along as I address your specific hormonal imbalance. If you scored a 3 or more in any section, that specific hormone, it's imbalanced, and we need to do something about it. The higher the number, the more imbalanced your hormones. So let's dive into your solutions with a little Hormone 101. According to a national poll, we all feel more stressed, more vulnerable, especially women. Women are feeling this way. And for those of you women who are listening, we didn't need a national poll to tell us that. Duh, right? 26% of women in the United States are on a pill for anxiety, for depression, or just a general feeling of being unable to cope, compared to 15% of all men. So why is there such a gender difference? We as women, we have babies, we get pregnant, we're more sensitive. Sensitive, we have a lot of demands, the demands on our endocrine system, and we just can't keep up with them. As caregivers, which most of us women are, we are so much more susceptible to the hormonal imbalances. Most of us women, and maybe a few adventurous men, we're juggling our lives in multiple roles. I'm wondering, are you a multitasker? It burns us out. Unfortunately, women especially lack the organ reserves to keep up with the amplified need. We all desperately want results, and most of us, we're not getting them from conventional medicine. Probably why you're here. It's not the doctor's fault. The poor doctors, they only get about 30 minutes of nutritional training in all their years at med school. Doctors are focused on prescriptions. You know that. That little pill they want to give you all the time. They want to cover up the symptoms instead of really getting to the root cause of why we are all suffering. You deserve to feel good from your cells to your souls. And that's what I wanted to help you with today. So it's not just your biology. We've been working really hard on your biology, right? It can be your psychology. So my suggestion is solve the biology as best you can and see what's left in terms of psychology. As I say, the issues are in your tissues, and you can create dis-ease just by feeling crappy in your brain. So to help you understand your hormones, I've given you a guide for each hormonal imbalance, and I'll go over this guide in depth with you at the end of this video, so stay tuned. But first, let's dive a little deeper into what each hormone does and understand where hormones are made. This can be kind of rote and lethargic, so bear with me and think of yourself throughout this video and where you are in each individual hormone. The majority of our important hormones, they come from one source. You're not going to believe this. They come from cholesterol. Cholesterol then breaks down to something called pregnenolone. And then pregnenolone, it breaks down to many hormones, including progesterone, testosterone, estrogen, and cortisol, our main hormones. So often the cause of your hormonal roller coaster is something called the pregnenolone steal. I know, it sounds like a baseball term, but it's really something that happens with your hormones. The pregnenolone steal, it happens when we're stressed. When we're stressed, those pretty little adrenals that sit on top of our kidneys, they work overtime to produce our main hormone. What's that again? Our main stress hormone is cortisol. In order to meet the increased demand in the body, what happens is the body steals pregnenolone that would normally go into making your other sex hormones like estrogen, progesterone, testosterone, and thyroid. It uses all of that pregnenolone to make cortisol because you're so stressed and you need more cortisol. After being stressed and producing extra cortisol to soothe your system, like Pepto-Bismol, your body's supposed to go back to rest and digest. Unfortunately, today in these modern times, we're all so stressed. We seldom go into rest and digest. This is another reason why meditation is so imperative. It's also imperative that we keep our blood sugar balanced with healthy, regular eating. Blood sugar imbalance, it can really cause pregnenolone steal as well. So the three most important sex hormones for women are what I like to call the Charlie's Angels. It's your cortisol, your thyroid, and your estrogen. And for men, it's cortisol, thyroid, and androgens or testosterone. So remember your Charlie's Angels. And I'd like to just kind of introduce something from way back in yesterday. Remember the show, The Charlie's Angels from the 70s? So if you don't remember it, it's no big deal. Just play along with me. This is a great visual to learn about your sex hormones. Using my quiz and the Joyful Living hormone cheat sheets that I've sent you in this module, you can balance your hormones so easily. It can be a piece of cake. My system, it uses a naturally balanced approach that will keep you happy and healthy for life. Yes, not temporarily, for life. If you want your hormones in the Goldilocks position, hey, what's the Goldilocks position? It's just right. Remember the three bears? Thinking of your hormones like Charlie's Angels, it makes it so easy to understand how hormones work in your body. So listen up. The three original Charlie's Angels represent your three main hormones for women, and then we'll get into androgens. But Sabrina, the Kate Jackson character, she was cortisol. Jill, or Farrah Fawcett, was thyroid, and Kelly, Jacqueline Smith, she was estrogen. So I want you to think of Sabrina, or the Kate Jackson character. She was cortisol. She was the smart, no-nonsense angel. She had brassy charm and quirky wit. She was willing to stand up to Charlie. Remember that? She spoke her mind. Her clear and well-honed voice, it let her stand up to Charlie more than any of the other angels. And she was less inclined to manipulate men with her feminine wiles. She had smart, strategic thinking. Sabrina rescues all the angels that were in danger. Just like cortisol. You know how cortisol works to get you out of trouble when you're in an accident or to protect your kid? You've heard of the stories where women pull cars off their children. That's cortisol. Today, we let so many other things stress us out. Often we bring stress on, we bring it on ourselves. Your stress can be not real stress. You want to ask yourself, is this really true? It can be perceived by the way you think. The tiger is no longer chasing you, and your fear, your worry keeps you so stressed. We need to get away from that. High cortisol, it can lead to so many challenges in your beautiful body. So let's look at the symptoms of imbalanced high cortisol. So as I go through this list, just keep track of how many of these symptoms apply to you in your head. Imbalanced high cortisol, it can raise your blood pressure, raise your blood sugar, it can stimulate and weaken your immune system. It really amps you up and helps you deal with danger, rescue you from tight spaces, which that's probably one of the good things about cortisol. It gets you out of that stress sometimes. But it also destroys healthy muscle and bone. It slows down healing and normal cell regeneration. It impairs your digestion, impairs metabolism and mental function. It really interferes with healthy endocrine function. It causes you to have a muffin top. Yep, that cortisol, it wants a warm, fuzzy place to hang out, and it lands right in your stomach. It gives you brain fog, mood and depression, polycystic ovarian syndrome, or some people call it PCOS, hypothyroidism, chronic fatigue symptoms, arthritis, premature menopause, Alzheimer's, dementia, multiple sclerosis, acne, hair loss. Yeah, cortisol is designed to get us out of the so-called crazies. So stress activates the cortisol stress response. So often we activate this response 24/7. We don't go back to rest and digest. We activate it for emotional problems with worry and perceived stress. We need to get away from that. Cortisol is the boss of all your hormones and your number one stress hormone. Unfortunately, when you've been running on high cortisol for some time, your cortisol, it goes low. Low cortisol, it's more challenging than high cortisol. High cortisol is the precursor for low cortisol. So you go on high, and then shoo, everything drops. Your adrenals burn out and you get low cortisol. As a response to long-term unmanaged stress, like I said, your adrenals burn out and your cortisol levels go low. Many of the symptoms of low cortisol, they parallel the symptoms of high cortisol and the symptoms I just gave you. So let me give you the symptoms of low cortisol. Some of them may be the same, so just follow along. Look at the ones that you might have. Diabetes, abdominal fat, the spare beach floaty that shows up around your waist, metabolic syndrome, depression, suicide, multiple sclerosis, delayed wound healing, short telomeres. They accelerate the aging process. More wrinkles, fatigue or burnout. We really get burned out when our adrenals are shot and we have low cortisol. Loss of stamina, you cry a lot, you might have insomnia, salt cravings, low blood pressure, fatigue or burnout. Ooh, I already said that, but I need to say it again because you really feel exhausted, drained, like your car is trying to run on an empty gas tank. You especially feel this in the morning when you have low cortisol or adrenal fatigue. You have an addiction to a negative point of view. You can't problem solve. You're stressed and overwhelmed most of the time. You have insomnia between 1 and 4, and this can be a liver imbalance. In Chinese medicine, your liver runs between 12 and 4 in the morning. You get really bloated, especially in your belly and your ankles. Cortisol, it's been called the bad boyfriend hormone. Let me tell you about one of my clients. Her name was Suzanne. She came to me for autoimmune thyroid issues. What I discovered was that her cortisol was so imbalanced. It was blocking production of all of her other hormones. She had major pregnenolone steal. Suzanne was a 36-year-old lawyer, and she couldn't get pregnant. She so wanted a baby. She felt so dismissed by the doctors. They would say, there, little one. They thought it was all in her head. She wanted to really stay away from prescriptions, and all the doctors wanted to do was give her a pill. So she came to me, and when I analyzed the root cause, what I discovered was her cortisol was very high. I gave her food, supplements, and mindfulness suggestions to really balance her cortisol. What happened was her brain fog and anxiety went away. She felt so much more peaceful, and she got pregnant within 2 cycles. This was pretty exciting. I was shouting hooray. So if you have high or low cortisol, To heal them, you need to skillfully manage your stress. You need to consistently and regularly eat nourishing foods. Limit your alcohol, limit your sugar, or get rid of them. Get plenty of restorative sleep. Take omega-3s in the form of flax seeds, chia seeds, fermented cod liver oil. And I have a supplement that I just love. It's called Cortisol Manager by Integrative Therapeutics. You can also do more yoga, meditation to really heal your stress. Try vitamin C, but not the regular kind you buy at the drugstore. Use Camu Camu, the strongest form of vitamin C, and it's all natural. You need to slow down, you need to relax, you need to chew slowly and mindfully. Eliminate gluten. Gluten can really tear up your gut and cause a lot of these symptoms. Get on licorice root, not the kind you eat, you know, the candy, and eliminate caffeine. And one more thing about licorice root. Hey, if licorice root can raise your blood pressure, so if you have that, use DGL. So let's talk about estrogen. Kate Jackson was the character. Estrogen is queenly. She was queenly, but she also was streetwise and tough. Like estrogen, Kelly could be powerful and in control in 1 minute, and she was the seductress in the next. Estrogen, it keeps you flush with serotonin, you know, your feel-good neurotransmitter that makes your mood and sleep and appetite just right for you. Balanced estrogen gives you stable moods, toe-curling orgasms, pretty good, lubricated joints, and your vajayjay, perky boobs, pretty skin. It keeps all the other angels, cortisol, thyroid, in balance. It affects juicy, joyous, and jonesing for sex. Ooh, that's a good one. Just like your cortisol, you can have high and low estrogen at the same time. General symptoms of estrogen imbalance are you're wired, but you're tired. Your mood and libido tank. You know, all of your inner joints, including your vajayjay, they just are less moist. Your joints are less flexible. You're kind of cranky, crotchety. You know, you have a mood that you don't even want to be around. Your mental state is less focused and alive. You have insomnia. You're always hungry. You have night sweats, crying spells, hot flashes. And this regulates leptin. Leptin and appetite. Leptin is the hormone that's made in your fat cells. It's like a switch for hormone. So when your estrogen is off balance, it helps you to regulate leptin. Estrogen keeps your face relatively wrinkle-free. It keeps you from constantly racing from one thing to the next. It quells anxiety and nervousness, brain fog, and that wild ride of emotions right before you get your period. When you have high estrogen, this is what you might experience. Again, take note of any of these symptoms you have as I go through the list. So listen up. First is bloating, puffiness, water retention, abnormal pap smears, increased bra size. Even for men, they get man boobs. Fibroids, mood swings, irritability, depression, crying jags, migraine headaches, and insomnia. You can see a lot of the symptoms are the same as other hormones. So just keep that in mind. They overlap. But to balance your levels, take DIM. Eliminate alcohol, eliminate red meat and dairy, cut caffeine. That's why we do the delicious detox. Go to sleep by 10 p.m. Exercise regularly. Release some weight. Eat an abundance of fiber and get more veggies in your diet. Remember, 7 to 10 cups of veggies a day. Do some restorative yoga. It's all over YouTube, so there's no excuse for not doing it. Regular massage, chanting, diaphragmatic breath, and something called orgasmic meditation or Om meditation. I love it. Look it up online. You will enjoy it. Estrogen, with all your hormonal angels, it keeps everything in balance and keeps the poetry going. Many women in menopause, they develop low estrogen, and low estrogen can cause poor memory, night sweats, depression, anxiety, lethargy, lack of juiciness everywhere, low libido, painful sex, loss of interest in exercise, bone loss, thin skin, leptin imbalance. Like you're just hungry all the time? So some possible solutions for low estrogen are give up the gluten, eat more whole fermented soy, eat 4 tablespoons of ground flax seeds daily, orgasm more, and you can figure out how to do that one, even if you don't have a partner. Try Om meditation, take magnesium, take maca. St. John's wort is great as well, especially for depression. You can find many other solutions to try on your estrogen handout. Now let's talk thyroid. Many of my clients, they come to me. They've been taking thyroid meds for years, and their meds are obviously not working. So many of us, we've been diagnosed with thyroid issues. To get the picture of thyroid, all you need to do is think of Jill, the Farrah Fawcett Majors of the hormonal angels. She was lithe, athletic. She played tennis, basketball. She swims. She bowls. She skateboards. She roller skates. Her metabolism, hey, it's working for her. Major. She drives the speedy car with blue racing stripes and even retires from the show to become a race car driver. You know, thyroid drives your race car. Without enough thyroid juice, you feel fatigued, you gain weight, and your mood sinks. Libido just disappears. You can't simply take a pill to heal your thyroid. You need to balance your entire body and get all the angels working together in unison. Yep, everything's connected. Do you remember Lucille Ball and her episode? I love this on I Love Lucy. She was on a commercial for something called Vitamita Vegamix. Oh, say that 17 times fast. Vitamita Vegamix. She asked, do you feel tired, run down, listless? Do you poop out at parties? Well, there was a bunch of alcohol in the Vitamita Vegamix, and she drank too much, and she got drunk. So her words were slurred. It was hilarious. But that's exactly what happens when your thyroid is low. You're pooped out. You just poop out all over your life. Do you have low thyroid? How many of these symptoms can you relate to? Decreased mental acuity, maybe brain fog, fatigue, constipation, rising cholesterol, hair loss, weight gain, even when you exercise and you're eating less, slower metabolism, hair loss, goiter, heavy periods. You have a family history of thyroid problems, delayed reflexes, a risk of Alzheimer's disease, weight gain, even when you eat less and exercise more. You have slowed metabolism. You're cold all the time. You have a low sex drive. You're depressed. You're moody. So if you want to feel better quickly with thyroid, you can try some kind of a desiccated thyroid, not the pharmaceutical, but a supplement that has desiccated thyroid. You can heal your adrenals, and we can talk more about that. Take some iron from red meat, not from a supplement. You can take vitamin A, seaweed, copper and selenium and zinc. Eliminate gluten. You can take vitamin D. You can reduce your stress levels, and take a multivitamin that's formulated to fill the nutritional gaps that many people have when they have hormonal imbalances. Thyroid loves copper, zinc, and selenium. And so you can look for something with those the three minerals to heal your high thyroid. If your thyroid symptom numbers are missing the mark, you can bet that's affecting the balance of all the other hormones, all those other angels. Your thyroid is your very own metabolic thermostat. The thyroid gland is right here in your neck, and it works in a feedback loop with your brain, particularly your pituitary and your hypothalamus. It works in regulating the release of thyroid hormone. Everything, like I've said before, everything is connected. Nothing in your body works in solo. So all your endocrine glands, they work together. Let's get the Charlie's Angels of your hormonal system, the cortisol, the estrogen, and the thyroid fighting for you. Okay? So let's talk one more hormone. Progesterone, so important in getting everything balanced. It acts like a Valium in the body. It's like nature's Valium. It also prevents you from bloating. Progesterone, it balances estrogen and helps you release excess fluid in your body. Ooh, you probably love that. No more bloat. Progesterone and estrogen, they do this beautiful dance with one another when you're cycling. Estrogen, it helps you build up the uterus walls in the first half of your menstrual cycle. And then progesterone comes along and it cleans out the uterus in the second half. Usually, we only hear of women suffering from progesterone challenges. The truth is, many men suffer from progesterone imbalances too. So if you're a man listening, don't think this excludes you. Progesterone, it will balance your estrogen levels, and yes, men need estrogen, not as much as women, but they need it. It improves your sleep challenges. It balances and moderates your mood, eliminates anxiety, builds your bones, balances your thyroid, improves your libido, busts through any PMS symptoms, eliminates headaches, balances your blood sugar, reduces breast swelling, reduces heavy bleeding, reduces painful periods or cramping. It improves your coordination, any clumsiness, and progesterone, it can really mess you up by giving you an emotional upheaval. Oh, so these are the negative symptoms of unbalanced progesterone. Emotional upheaval, sleep problems, infertility, night sweats, irregular menstrual cycles, low libido, hair loss, weight gain, fatigue, depression, something called gynecomastia. Okay, that's man boobs. For those of you guys listening, erectile dysfunction, impotence, bone loss, muscle loss, anxiety. Your periods are a little closer together. You have trouble calming yourself down, and you have trouble getting pregnant. You're irritable. You're restless. You've got itchy, restless legs. You've got migraines, and concentrating isn't very easy. So what do we do to solve this? You can take vitamins B and C. Again, C is in camu. You can have more fun. Hang out with your friends. Do things that really are fun. Laugh. Find more joy. Limit alcohol. Take bladder rack. And you have all these supplements. You can also take saffron or Vitex, chaseberry. You can get off the pill, but you got to watch that because you don't want to get pregnant if you don't want to be there. Progesterone rises in response to stress, and eventually these levels are unable to maintain, so they burn out and they become low. So I believe balancing your hormones all goes back to stress or cortisol. When you balance your cortisol, your hormones balance. Now we'll go over the last imbalance. It's low androgens or testosterone. I saved this one for last. What testosterone does, it increases your muscle tone, muscle mass, your strength, and maintains your memory. But too much can lead to acne, hair loss, hair growth in undesirable places. You lose it here, but you grow it somewhere else, and a lot of irritability. So most women that I work with don't usually have unbalanced androgens unless you have something called PCOS, polycystic ovarian syndrome. For men, you can usually balance your androgens or your testosterone by following the delicious detox and balancing your stress levels. So you're doing everything right in this program. If you scored high for androgens and you can't figure it out, schedule a private consultation with me to get to the root cause. If you want any chance at all of defeating your hormonal challenges, you gotta get your Charlie's Angels hormones working for you and working in sync like a well-oiled machine or a symphony. Now that you understand a bit more about your main hormones and how to balance them, let's talk about the hormone charts. I want you to take out your charts, choose your 2 hormone imbalances with the highest numbers, and then grab the chart. The first column in the chart, it shows your symptoms. The second column, it gives you a list of the best foods to eat for each symptom. The third column, you'll find my list of suggested supplements and lifestyle suggestions to really heal your particular hormonal imbalance. And this is so much fun because even if you feel out of whack, 10 years from now, you can use this chart. The guides are just that, a guide. When we look at the specific symptoms, we discover things like if your hair is falling out, it's because your thyroid is low or your adrenals are burnt out. So you can really tell what the root cause is. Maybe you're having night sweats and hot flashes because your estrogen is low. The chart will tell you that. It's just a great way to go back and look at it. So I invite you to use these guidelines, but I want you to use them in conjunction with your inner voice, your inner guide, what we've been talking about in this entire program. Really use these to discover what your body really needs, what it needs to heal. So look at your symptoms, and then any part of the test where you scored a 3 or above, any section, focus on those top 2 hormones that have the highest scores or the most imbalanced. Next, I want you to incorporate the suggested foods for that particular hormone. And a lot of them are the same because, yes, they are the same. Then take the list into meditation. Start to meditate. Read over the list and lovingly ask in your inner guide, what supplements or lifestyle suggestions are the ones I need to start to heal my amazing body? Get quiet, listen to your inner guide, follow the guidance, and start with a particular supplement or lifestyle suggestion that you discover with your inner guide that works best for you. And then start incorporating it. Order that supplement. Start doing whatever it says on the chart that you feel is best for you. Use your inner guide to help you quickly, easily, and effortlessly get you feeling back in balance. So in my full 3 Months to Thrive program, we take an even deeper dive into this process. We really look at how to reduce your stress and get your body and your life smooth as silk. But after going through this jumpstart, I invite you to join my full 3 Months to Thrive program just to take that deeper dive to get a powerful transformational tools, tips to keep you healthy and happy for life. You know, the accountability is fabulous, isn't it? Let's have fun and really transform your relationship, not only with food, with life. And as far as listening to your body will guide you to fantastic health. Your inner guide. As you can see, when you're feeling crappy, it's usually not your hormones. We just assume that we're doing something wrong. When our weight on the scale keeps going up, we can't fit in our skinny jeans, and we have FLC syndrome. What's that? Feeling like crap. So we often blame ourselves. We try to figure out, okay, what am I doing wrong? Do I need to see a therapist? First, look at your biology, and if things don't improve, then you can look at your psychology. Solve the biology as best you can and see what you're left with in terms of psychology. And my full 3 Months to Thrive program can help you with just that. Let's stop ignoring the root cause of your hormonal imbalances. Along with these solutions, thinking differently can create such a positive balance in our hormones. I want you to amplify positive emotions. You know, I find that when we positively amplify our emotions, that sets off hormonal repair like that. So much better than just focusing on calming down and eating right. We need to relax, slow down. You know, we are so lucky because there's so many apps out there that'll help you with that. One of my favorites is Calm. I love Insight Timer. You can look them up on the internet. They're both designed to lower your cortisol, to keep it cool. You can train your body to calm. I invite you to journal and ask yourself the questions. I gave you a list of questions to really discover what is best for your amazing body, to do a little bit of a deep dive. In your play work, you're going to find these questions. Journal on these questions, and you'll discover what's going on inside yourself. Maybe you'll get some aha moments and explore what you really need to thrive and thrive for life. After considering these questions, ask yourself, what more do I need to do to give this amazing temple that I live in the nutrients it needs to feel fabulous every day? And when I'm talking nutrients, I'm not just talking food. Last and so not least, ask yourself, what can I do to bring more pleasure and joy into my life? What brings you pleasure? And what is pleasure important? Why is it so important for your hormones? Ask yourself, what feeds my soul and brings me joy? And the more we move towards love, joy, and the things we have to do, hey, you're doing joy. You're enjoying joy. You're enjoying love. You're enjoying pleasure. Everything becomes more pleasurable. The hard times, they don't seem as hard. Your spirit gets so much lighter. You ride on the joy of life. I'd like you to think for a moment about how you can savor your life. Do you absolutely love your life, or are you simply settling? Do you praise the good things that are happening in your life? Are you able to accept the praise of others about your life? When someone tells you you're great, do you receive it? Or do you think, yeah, right? In my full 3 Months to Thrive program, I offer you so many more physical and mindset tools to make your success stick. For how often you are transformed by the splendor before you. It helps you transform the splendor, and that's what I want for you. What can you do to increase your joy and pleasure? Look at it and actually schedule some of these things on your calendar. So your play work this week is to look at your quiz results. Choose the hormone imbalance or the top 2 that are most imbalanced. And I bet they're better than when you first started this program, if you had taken the quiz before. So then implement 4 or 5 of the steps and discover a whole new you. Really listen to your body, let your body tell you what you need. And then if you don't feel relief in 2 weeks, add another suggestion. Keep adding suggestions until you start feeling better. Use your intuition and your inner guide to guide you to your amazing healing. It's not a one-size-fits-all solution, and I can't say that enough. So have fun. Discover the solutions that work best for your beautiful body. If your most imbalanced hormone is thyroid, don't go with thyroid. Use the next imbalanced hormone, because when you balance everything else, your hormone will naturally, or your thyroid will naturally balance. So this week, continue to meditate. See yourself in your ideal body, your ideal life. Continue to add back the foods if you want. It's totally optional. 1 week, every week. And listen to your body. See how they affect you. Remember, it's optional. If you're feeling great, don't add them back. Choose one thing you can do this week that truly brings you incredible joy, incredible pleasure. Schedule that one thing and make that non-negotiable. And more for bonus points. Really enjoy the process. Get your questions ready for our weekly call next week. Hormones, hey, they can be complicated. And I'm your hormone expert. So really write down these questions. And anything you want to know more about, just ask. I'm here as your guide on the side. Just continue to make the wonderful changes in your body stick for life. I love you, and I can't wait to see you on our support call. This is Catherine Chess, your nutritionist and joyful living coach.